Hey there everyone, this is Iram here, and today we are going to finish our Bulma framework study. We are going to see all the elements and other things related to the Bulma documentation, like typographies and the layouts. In the last video, we have finished our helpers. I think we haven't done completely, and after finishing this, after seeing all the overview of the documentation, or after learning from these documentation, we are going to create a project using Bulma. So let's get started. Last time we have done with the helpers, and we have to go until the visibility. We have done until visibility, and the documentation is quite clear, and it is understandable. It's not that much difficult. If you are new to Bulma, then it's not that it's very good, very easy. And if you are already using any kind of framework like Bootstrap or Tailwind, then I think you guys will be more relaxed with Bulma. You will find many similarities between Bulma and other frameworks. So let's move on to the Flexbox. And in the Flexbox helpers helpers for all Flexbox properties, here they are saying that here we can use the different Flexbox properties here. So the properties they have mentioned here, it's about direction, wrapping, justify content, align content, align items, self-align, flex grow, flex shrink, and the way of defining these classes within Bulma is flex direction raw, reverse, column, and column reverse. We just need to add the is prefix while using these classes. I'm not gonna do it with coding because I found that with the coding it seems more childish, and I think let me explain you this, and then when you will work in a project, when you will create a project using all these properties, you guys will understand the things better than this one. Okay, then here is the wrapping one, the wrapping class. Again, we just need to add a prefix of is flex wrap, no wrap, and here is the property and value. Then wrap means it has to be flex wrap, and you have to wrap it. Again, is flex wrap and wrap, then is flex wrap reverse. So here is the property, and this is the way we are going to define these properties within Bulma without leaving our HTML. Okay, here is the justify content properties, and the classes we are going to define are same is justify content center, flex and, space around, between, evenly, left, right, and start. And here are the definition of the properties. Then we do have align content here, and again alignment is defined here. Then items, then they are defining the self alignment, and they are saying that the value of auto is going to be defined as is align self auto, and is align self flex start. And here is align self and flex start. We define all these properties in CSS, but Bulma made our life easy, so we have to define these properties within the within the tag, within the element, and by using this class. Okay, then flex grow and flex shrink property they have, and here different values they have added. From 0 to 5 is flex grow to 0, and it's up to until 5. Okay, it's up to 5. Then we do have the shrink values here from 0 to 5 again. Okay, so the grown and shrinking values are defined from 0 to 5. These are the pre-made classes, and they already defined them here. I do have some issues with my computer screen, so just avoid it. Okay, then they do have another option within helpers. That option is others, and other helpers other useful Bulma helpers are clear fix. What it's gonna do, they are going to fix this element floating children, and pull left moves an element to left, right is going to move the element to right, and clip adds overflow hidden, overlay covers the first position parent, radius less removes radius, shadow less removes shadow, unselectable prevents the select from being selectable, clickable, and here is the way it's defined, that applies the cursor pointer. They have used the important flag to the element and is relative, then position relative to the element. Okay, so this is what the Flexbox and other helpers are gonna do. Let's move on to the columns and start learning from columns, then elements, components, and let's cover them. And then after we are going to create a project. Okay, so here the columns provided by Flexbox. Yeah, there is a bit difference between these columns and in Bootstrap columns. Like in defining the columns or rows, there is a bit different. I'm going to show you where the difference is. Simple way to build responsive columns. So building a column layout with Bulma is very simple. Again, add a columns container and column. Yep, here the columns container and a column. So in Bootstrap we use raw, and within raw we define the columns. Here they are the word raw, or the thing which we were defining in Bootstrap, that was known as raws. Raw, we are going to define it with columns here. Okay, and here is the example, like columns with equal width are here, they have shown the image here, and here is the code. So the column, then first, second, third, and fourth. So here is the this is the result, this is the output, that how we can see the columns here. This is something basic. Okay, then the next is size. So column sizes define each column individually, and if we want to change the size of a single column, we can do this by using these following classes. And the first is 3/4, is 2/3, is half, is 1/3, is 1/4, and is full. So the other columns will fill up the remaining space automatically. And how it's gonna do this? The first one is full. Okay, so is full is this one. Now is full is it spreads and it covers everything. Okay, then 4/5, 4/5, 3/5, 2/5, 1/5, 2/3, half, 1/3, and 1/4. So here is the 4/5. Is 4/5 means it is going to cover the fourth or fifth part of this column. Then here is the 3/4. You can see the difference, and the other two, the remainings, are going to adjust themselves using auto classes, or the prefixes of auto. Okay, then is 2/3, 3/5 is half, and is 2/2. Not the prefixes of auto, but the auto classes. Okay, sorry, I mixed something, but they are going to use some because we are defining these classes to, like, is 3/4, and the other rest of the columns are gonna adjust themselves automatically. Okay, here we have the option to adjust them according to our requirement. Then here is the code for all this. So you can see that is 4/5, and then the other two columns are gonna adjust themselves automatically, or that's why they have said auto here, and auto is written here. Okay, and here is the code. You guys can have a look. Like within the columns, in place of rows, within the columns, it has they are defining in column. Okay, the columns, the first one is plural, and the others are within that div, the other divs are singular. They are using columns, and then it has 3 column. The first column is gonna define is 3/4 using the 3/3 quarter of the space, and the other two are using the rest of the space themselves automatically. Okay, and then here is a complete code of all this output. Then here the column 12 column system seem like a grid system. So as a grid can be divided into 12 columns, there are sizes, classes for each division. So is 1 to up to 12. The first one is this one. It covers all the 12 grades, okay? And then here they have, then the others are defined by using these and these classes, okay? And here are the definitions that so here are the classes that how we can use these classes. So we can use these classes from 1 to 12, and here is the naming convention. Now each modifier class is named after how many columns you want of 12. So if you want 7 columns out of 12, use is 7, okay? It's very common thing. We already using these things in Bootstrap, but here it's same, only the difference of row and columns. Okay, so is 1, so only one grade or the one column is covered, and the rest of them are adjust automatically, okay? They are adjusting automatically. Then this is 2, yeah, it took the space of 2, like here it covers 1, and then here it covers 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and it's up to 12. So you can see the 12 covered the whole column or the whole space. Okay, so now we do have the offset properties here. While you can use empty columns like div and div class column, and then div, then to create horizontal, here we are closing the div. So to create horizontal space around column elements, you can use offset modifiers like is offset x. We have to use it while using the offset property x, using something horizontally. And if we want to do something vertically, then we have to use the y. So here it is saying that is half and is offset 1/4. So here is the code is, here is the code, and you can see that column is mobile, then column is half is full set 1/4, column is mobile, then 3/5 is offset 1/5, and is mobile, then is 4 is offset column. These are the, again, the classes. Whatever the class is suits you, you guys can go and use this one. Here they have used the is 11 and is offset 1. So here they have, here is the code for this output, and you can practice this one. So is offset 8, and it is for this one is defined for column is mobile, okay? So here is 4 and is offset 8. We can see here in this one, this class as columns is mobile, and this one is defined within the columns, okay? Not within a column, but within a columns. And here the second div, it is this class is defining a column. Then we do have the option of narrow column. So if you want a column to only take the space it needs, then you need to use the is arrow modifier. Then the columns, the other column or columns will fill up the remaining space themselves. So as we have seen on top, that they were using the other rest of the space using the automatic adjustment. And here they are saying that narrow column, this column is only 200 pixels wide, okay? So the narrow column is only 200 pixels wide, and flexible column will take up the remaining space available. So the code for this is class columns. Again, we are going to define the column within the columns, and is narrow class, then the class has a box, and here they have used the inline styling of 200 pixels. Then the p elements with title, and the title is 5, the font. Then when we will read about the typography, then you guys can understand about it. It's quite simple, same like Bootstrap. But if you are new to this one, to this framework, then you should I will explain you by creating a project, okay? Then the class is subtitle, and here is the column, okay? Column box is title flexible column, and the subtitle is here. So here they are defining the breakpoints. Is narrow mobile, tablet, touch is gonna be used for mobile and tablet both. Then is narrow desktop, and widescreen and then full HD. So if you want to be more if you want it to be more detailed, or something which gonna work on all the responsive devices, we just need to add these breakpoints. Okay, so responsiveness, it's about the columns responsiveness, handle different columns layout for each breakpoint, mobile columns. And you can see that by default columns are only activated from tablet onwards. This means columns are stacked on top of each other on mobile devices. So if you want columns to work on mobile too, just add is mobile modifier on the columns container. Here is the code. They have added is mobile modifier with this columns class, and within this they have 1, 2, 3, 4 columns, you guys can see. And for more, we can resize the browser and we can see how it works. It really works. I'm not gonna do this, but if you open the documentation for your satisfaction, you guys can see this one by resizing the browser on different breakpoints. Then if you only want desktop, use a desktop modifier here, and here they have again 4 columns. So the modifier is desktop and the class is columns, defining how it works on desktop. Then different column sizes per breakpoint. Column size defined for each viewport size, mobile, tablet, and desktop. The 3/4 mobile is 2/3 tablet, is half desktop, 1/3 widescreen, and and 1/4 full HD. The output is here. You can see the code is mobile modifier is used here. The 3/4, 2/3 tablet, blah blah blah, each and everything is written here. You can see how it works and how it changes the size. So you can see it again by resizing your browser. The next is nesting. Nesting we don't have in I don't think that we have used this one in Bootstrap according to my memory. We haven't used this one in I haven't seen the nesting columns in Bootstrap, or we haven't done anything using something which is called nesting. So you can see that the columns top level, columns container column, and then columns, nested columns, and so on. Here is the example. So you can see that multi-line columns is the order of the HTML code, and the blue columns appear before the red ones, resized to a narrower viewport to see the result. So to see the result of this one, again, resize the browser. Multi-line columns will also have gap between each line. Here is a code. Copy this and you can see it. You will understand how it works. Here, this one and this one is, you can see columns, then column, notification is info. This one, first column, this is the second one, the first nested column, okay? First column and the other is nested. Here is another example, the best example I think I'm gonna show you from the gap. Okay, you will understand this from here. So look at this one, the gap is a default gap, customized gap between the columns. We don't have something, this one, the nesting and the gap separately in Bootstrap, and separate elements or the separate classes as they have defined here. So default gap variable, this variable is defined in SAS, and column gap, this is the variable which has default value of 0.75 rem. Since the gap is on each side of a column, the gap between two adjacent columns will be twice the value of column gap, or 1.5 rem by default. Here is the gap they have shown, and here is the gap less. Now the multi-line modifier, and let me show you the code here. Here is the code for the mobile, and again 1/4, and so on, so forth, and then the variable gap. Now I'm gonna show you how it works and you will understand this nesting and gap and everything from here. Okay, so specify custom column gap by appending one of 9 modifiers. Okay, on the columns class container, the main or top level class, so is 0 will remove any gap, gonna be gapless. Okay, or we can say it is like, you will understand the nesting, like it's one and it's between one and other, same like a nest, something is between or something is within. Okay, one thing is within other thing, like one column has another column, then it has another column, and it is going on, moving on. Here the first, this one is 1.5 rem. Look at this thing, this output carefully, and if I click hover over to is 0, then there isn't any kind of gap, it is gapless. You cannot see anything. A bit of the space between, or a gap between each column. Then 2, the gap increased. 3 increased more, and you can see that they are shrinking also. These columns are shrinking, and here they are growing, depends upon the gap. Okay, then here they have mentioned about the browser support. Then breakpoint based column gaps, and you can define a column gap for each viewport size. The modifier is gonna be is variable 2 mobile, 0 on tablet, 3 on desktop, and 8 is on widescreen. Then 1 is gonna be on full HD. And here is the code, and here is the output of this code. You can see here that for mobile is 1, tablet is 0, desktop 3. Have to resize your browser and you will understand these column gaps. Again, let's move on to the options. Column options design different types of column layout. Vertical alignment, the class we are going to add is v-centered modifier, is gonna v-centered modifier, and here is the columns class container. First column, second column with more content. This is so you can see the vertical alignment. See here. Okay, multi-line, here is a code. Copy this code in your browser editor and check it out. Then the multi-line, whenever you want to start a new line, you can close a columns, the top level div, and then container and start a new one. But you can also add is multi-line modifier to add more column elements than that would fit in a single row. So here is this first one is gonna be is quarter, everything is equally equally separated, or is in equal size. And here is this one is 1/2, and then 1/4. This is only 1/4, and this is auto. Okay, adjusted itself automatically. And centering columns, while you can use empty columns like div class, and div is closing here. And create horizontal space, that one we were earlier, the above mentioned is the vertical. Then the column class element you can also use is centered on the parent columns element. Here this one is half, is mobile, is centered, is half. Again, go HTML is half. Okay, you can see this multi-line, use with the multi-line. Here is the code, copy it, check it out. Let's move on to the next one, which is elements. Elements has different options like block. So Bulma's most basic spacer block. Block element is simple spacer tool. It allows siblings HTML elements to have consistent margin between them. Here is the code. Okay, the first class is a block level. You can see this text is within block. Okay, the second one is also within block. Third one is also, and you can see the consistency of the margin here. We just add a block and it is showing us as here, as we can see this one. So as you can see, the first two blocks have margin bottom applied. but not the third one. Look at this one. That is because Bulma applies a space on all blocks except the last one. This means you can use as many blocks as you want. The spacing will only appear between them. So you can see this one. Without using block, the HTML would have no space between them. Look at this one. Okay, it's everything is it's like it's not showing that it is different or there is some difference between them. But here, while using the block class, we can see the margin, and they have defined about the margin, bottom, and other things. Let's move on. And you are already using it. Matter of fact, already using block without knowing it. Shared across several Bulma elements and component like breadcrumb, level, message, pagination, tabs, box, content, notification, other, progress, table, and title. So here let's go with this one without block. You can see this is without block. With block, everything it's look nice, cool, decent, and it's give much better effect than this one. Okay, this one is like old school, and this is it gives a very beautiful look. Everything is separated, have a nice space, and a nice this space and a nice block gives a nice look to this block. Okay, no matter which Bulma elements and components you are using, and no matter their order, they will have a consistent space between them. As we can see here, the space is consistent. There isn't anything which has more space or less space or more margin, less margin. It's everything is working beautifully. Here is the one line of CSS. This is the code, and block is very simple, applies a margin bottom on all siblings except the last one. Okay, the next is box. We're gonna use this block in a project. I have created a project. Okay, soon I'll give you not the overview, but we will work on that project. We're using Bulma. White box to contain other elements. The box element is a simple container with a white background, some padding, and a box shadow. You can see this one. There's a block and the shadow and nice padding too. Look at this padding. Everything it's looking nice. We just need to add a box class. Because it acts as a container, you can easily include other components like form elements. So here is the example. This is the box, and it has the elements of the form email and password element, plus this sign in or the submit button. The full code you want to see, go and check this one. Or media object, sure, we can see how it covers within a box. It looks great, it looks cool, it's giving nice effect. Here are the variables for the box: color, background, shadow, radius, shadow, padding, hover, link, active, shadow, and each and everything. And next is element as button. The classic button in different colors, sizes, and states. So the button is an essential element of any design. It means to look and behave as an interactive element of your page. Here's the button. There are different kind of buttons. The outline, and here the button can be used on anchor links, button input, form buttons, submit inputs, and reset input. These are the types. So you can see that the outlines. Okay, then the colors, so white, dark, black, then the text, again the link. Then we can use this button with the different predefined color classes of Bulma. Then each color now comes in light version. Here are the dark version, here are the light version. Here, and then the size is small, normal, medium, large, small, default, normal, medium, and here is the large one. Then the button for this, you just have to, the HTML is button, class is gonna be button, is small, or just a button, normal, medium, and large, the modifiers you have to use. Change the size of multiple buttons, small, medium, and large. So you can see how they are changing this, or how we can change it by using this R in a modifier, okay, or in a class. So this is what the button is, and this is what the button looks like. Okay, so you can change the size of the subset of buttons. So you can see small, 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 normal, and small, then display, and the small, normal, medium, large. The next is here the outline styles. So if when we hover over them, this is the only the outline, hover, and it is showing the colors. And inverted, the text color becomes the background colors and vice versa. So you can see the inverted modifier. Button is primary class and then is inverted modifier. While using this one, we can see the difference here. The outline, now here we cannot see anything, but when I hover over it, there is a outline. Okay, is inverted, again outlined, outlined, and outlined. Rounded buttons. So the rounded buttons we do have in Bootstrap 2. The states, different states are defined here. Hover is hovered, focus is focused, and active is active. The code is here for this one. This is the normal one, and here is the code. Is hovered, and you can see is hovered, and it's hovered. So when I hover over it, they have used the same colors, so you can see the outline. It has a shadow. It seems that it clicks, it got a click. And this one too. Now for the focus, you can see the focus one focusing, and something is going on. It will be more clear to you when you practice it, or if you see these documentation on your own. Then we do have the loadings, and the loading, you can see the different animated or spinners, like the spinners are not animated, but the spinners we do have, and we just need to add a is loading modifier before using this one. Then static, here is the static one. Nothing is going on, it is static. And we do have the disabled, cannot do anything, have to define the disabled modifier. Okay, with font awesome icons, we can use them with font awesome icons too. Here are the examples how we can use the font awesome icons. I'm sure you guys are familiar with this and you have enough practice of using font awesome icons. Then the button contains the icon, and make sure that the button remains square no matter the size of the button or the icon. So buttons, and the button is small, icon is small, and here is the font awesome icon. Button icon is small, so you can see that it's not affecting on the square. It remains same. It's not changing, it's not making any kind of changes. Then the button group, if you want to group buttons together in a single line, use is grouped modifier on the field container. So the main container here is field, and it has a grouped is grouped modifier, then control class, then button is link. You can see that how it works. Button add-ons, left, center, right, they have used the font awesome icons here, and these are the add-ons. Field has the add-ons, control button, and yes, the font awesome icons for these icons. Then the button group with add-ons, here the group is a field. The main is the top level of div has a class of field. Then the modifier has add-ons, and the rest of the things you guys can see from the code. List of buttons, you can create a list of buttons by using buttons, container, changes, you cancel, and here is the way of defining this. Again, very long multi-lines and evenly spaced. Here is the code for that. Okay, the top level is buttons and div, and then within this they have defined the button element. Then can attach buttons together without gap or no spacing, is centered. You can see alignment and modifier, yes, maybe no is selected modifier is used. Buttons has add-on and the color is success, then the is selected modifier is used here, here, and the last one isn't because it isn't. This one is selected. I thought that this one, and here they have added this. The danger, the class, and the modifier is selected. Difference between form groups and list of buttons. Go and read the documentation. Again, the variables are defined here. And let's go to the content. So the content single class to handle what you see is what you get with the wig generated content where only HTML tags are available. So p element, then unordered list, ordered list, and the other data list. Then H1 to H6 block quotes, M strong table, then the table TRTH head, raw, and data. This content class can be used in any context where you just want to or can only write some text. For example, it's used for paragraph you are currently reading. This one they are talking about. Full example is content and then the supported HTML tag. You can see the top level or the div class has a content. H1 is hello world, then some lorem ipsum within the p element, and they have used the superscript and subscript. Super and sub. So the UL unordered list, list items, heading again unordered list, and you can read all these tags. Look at the example, the fourth level, and this is how the content can be. Okay, let's move on to the delete. The delete element is a standalone element that can be used in different contexts, and on its own it's simple circle with a cross. This is what it looks like, and here is the code. Button class is gonna be delete. It's gonna show us this one. We don't need to use the font awesome icon for this thing. Just use the delete class and it's gonna appear in this way. It has 4 sizes. The smaller one is the 1, 2, 3, and the 4th. And the way of defining this by using the modifier is small, is medium, and is large. Okay, the combinations, Bulma uses it for the tags, the notifications, and the messages. So here are the combinations: the tag hello world, the notification, and here is the message. Okay, then the message body, when we read these elements we will understand how it works. And icon, I don't think that I need to explain it, but just for the completeness of this tutorial, let me go with this. Bulma is compatible with all icon, font, libraries like Font Awesome 5.4, material design icons, and ionic icons, ion icons, actually it's ion icons, and there are some others. In one of my video I have mentioned some other icons. I don't remember now, I don't remember, but they are compatible with all type of icons. Icon element is container for any type of icon font because the icons can take a few seconds to load. The space over the space, and read this one. Look at the small size of the icon. Then the icon text, it's only the icon, then it has a text. You can see use the icon and a text. Then icon, we can use the icons with the text. Look at this one, this example, and here we can use the icon text. Inline flex element, okay, can be easily inserted within a paragraph text. So within this paragraph they have used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 icons, and they have used the font awesome icons here. This FAS means font awesome solid icons. Okay, then you can also turn the icon text into a flex element. Here is the example of that. Icon text has text info, has icon has a text, and this one is info. Then the block, and this block also read this, practice the code, use the colors. Colors can also be, the icons can be colored, and the sizes are here. For me, the most important thing is the size. Icon is small. You can see the container size is 1 rem into 1 rem, and here is the font awesome icon, size is 1 em. Then icon, here is the container size. Container is this one, this is the icon, and the large one, then FAS large, and this one is 2 times larger than 2 times, and then this is FAS again 1 em, 33 em, and 1.33 em and 2 em. For awesome variations, so the fixed width icons, border icons, animated icons, and stacked icons. So here are this one is the spinner, the animated, and the stacked, and the borders with the, and this one is the fixed width. Material design icons. Material design icons are here. Go ahead, read the documentation, and you guys will understand how it works. Next, we are going to know about the image and the container for responsive images. Because images can take few seconds to load, image containers specify precisely sized containers so that your layout isn't broken because of image loading or image errors. Here is the code, how we can use the image. We have to use the figure element, then we have to define a class, then image, and here is the size of the image is 128 by 128, the source of the image, and it has to be wrapped within the figure element. Fixed square images, image is 16 by 16, 24 by 24, 32, 48, 64, defined in pixels. 96 and 128 by 128 pixels. We do have the options of rounded images within Bulma, and then we retina images, like the retina images size is 128 by 128. Then responsive images with ratios. So images square is or 1 by 1. We can define it by using the square, or we can define it by using the 1 by 1. Again, 5 by 4, 4 by 3, 3 by 2, 16 by 9, 2 by 1, 3 by 1, 4 by 1, and so on and so forth. Okay, this is the way we can define. The only requirement is for the parent element to already have a specific width. Image container will usually take up whole width while maintaining the perfect ratio. If it doesn't, you can force it by appending is full width modifier. Then the arbitrary ratios with any element. You can apply a specific ratio on any element other than img or image simply by applying has ratio modifier to the resizable element. So you can see this one now within the iframe they have used a bug bunny, big bug bunny video, and look at this one. The figure class has image is 16 by 9. Okay, and then class has ratio with 640 width, 360 height. Here is the source, frame border, allow full screen, and this is what they have within an iframe. Everything is defined here within the code. When we will work with this one, we'll understand. Let's move on to the notifications. Bold notification blocks to alert your users of something. The notification is simple colored block meant to draw the attention. See the code here, div, the top level notification, then the class is delete. Here is the delete class which shows this icon, and here is the notification. Again, we can use the notifications with different colors. We want them to be in colors, and again the variation light colors. And yeah, for more, the Bulma package doesn't come with any JavaScript. This is the most important thing. But when we'll create a project, I'm going to show you how we can use the JavaScript. And here is however an implementation example. So click handler for Bulma delete on the page in vanilla JavaScript. So here is the code, vanilla JavaScript code. we can use this one. When we click, then it's gonna work. It's gonna show something. The next is progress bars. And progress bars, simple CSS class style, native progress HTML element, and you can see the class is progress. Value is 15, max is 100. Then here is the 15, the value is 15 within the progress element. We can use the colors, then the sizes, so small, normal, medium, large. Then indeterminate are here, you can see is small, is primary, is danger, medium, info, then max is 100, 15%, and 45, 60, and it's up to us, whatever we want to give. The variables are defined here. Let's move on to the table. Inevitable HTML table with special case cells. So the same way of defining the table as we have defined in other frameworks or our favorite Bootstrap. So table class is table head, footer, foot, body, raw, heading, and a cell or data. So here is selected, this one, modifier on table raw. You can see the position, team, and other specifications here. Here is the code for this. The main is table, then table head, table raw. Let me open the whole code. And here is title. The abbreviations within the table head are used. Then table foot again, and everything is same. Table body. So it's self-explanatory. It's not something complicated. Okay, then here where we are, okay, the modifiers, borders, table is bordered, you can see striped, this is striped, this is striped, narrow, you can see the difference, these are the widers, these are the narrowers. Hoverable, yep, I'm hovering and there is a nice gray shade. Full width, here is example. Table is bordered, striped, narrow, hoverable is full width. You can combine all 5 modifiers. So here is the combination of all the modifiers, and we do have a complete table. Table container, and you can create a scrollable table by wrapping table in a table container element. So this is a table container element, and we do have a class of table, and you can see the scrollable, it is scrolling. Okay, then the variables are defined here. Move on to the tags. Small tagged labels to insert anywhere. The Bulma tag is a small but versatile element. It's very useful as a way to attach information to a block or other component. Its size makes it also easy to display numbers, making it appropriate for long lists of items. Here you can see the span, class is tag. By default, the tag is 1.5 rem high label. See this here. And then if we move on, see the colors. There are 10 colors available. The darker version, the lighter version. Then sizes, normal, medium, large. Again, need to use the modifiers, is normal, is medium, is large. Then the tags are medium here and are medium, okay, then are large. Here is the code. Then subset of tags, so you can see normal, medium, normal, medium, large, and medium. Here are the classes. Are medium is the mean. Modifiers is rounded, is delete. You can see this is the rounded one, this one is for the delete. Then the combinations delete, and you can see bar, this small, medium, large, list of tags, and here is the list. Then multiple lines, evenly spaced, very long, good for blogs. If you wanna add anything like this in a blog, you guys can use it. Tag add-ons, again, see this, and this one too. Grouped is grouped multi-lines, has add-ons, and here is blog tags, also technology, CSS, blah blah blah. Then we can use, here are the variables, and move on to the title. So title and subtitle, simple headings to add to your depth, to add depth to your page. Title, subtitle, this one is self-explanatory. I'm not going in detail. Let's move on to the components. For me, I think the components are more, everything was important, but components are more important. Okay, components are more important, so let's move on to the first one. The first component is breadcrumb. Simple breadcrumb component to improve your navigation experience. Here is here they have defined the different styles. So the class is going to be breadcrumb. Aria label is again breadcrumbs, and you can read this one. Okay, if I'm gonna read, then it takes too much time. Alignment is centered, is right, and this is a breadcrumb. Okay, breadcrumb is centered. Look at this one. This one they have added the right. This one modifier is right. Breadcrumb is right. Then with icons, you can see this here, and then with the arrow separator, has arrow separator. Okay, so you can choose between 4 additional separators, has arrow separator, bullet, dot, or succeeds. So this one is the arrow, this one is the dot, this one with the separator, see, a very small dot. Then this one is gonna be with the succeed, or succeeds separator, has succeeds, this one I'm talking about. Okay, then sizes, 3 additional sizes, medium, small, medium, and large. Here is the small one, this is the medium one, this is the large one. Self-explanatory. Again, let's move on to the cards. All around flexible and composable component. We have done with the cards in Bootstrap 2. So card main container, header title, icon, image, content, footer, and footer item. Card header title appending is centered, and centered is a modifier. You can see this one. The image, the title, again card parts. This is the header with the icon. Okay, here is the card image. This one is the content. This is the footer, and here is an example of a card header title, then the header icon, and font awesome icon is used, then card content, and again here is the footer, card footer. Okay, then again card content, subtitle, footer. Okay, and the variables are here. Let's move on to the drop downs. Drop down main container, drop down trigger, button, container for a button, then menu, content, item, divider, and yes, so here is the drop down. Click on it, it disappears. This one is using is active, so that's why it was active here. And then this drop down item again is active, drop down trigger. Let me do this, and the drop down appears. Button area has pop up, true, content, read the code if you don't understand anything, but it's self-explanatory. Hoverable or toggleable, so let me hover over it and you can see this one. You just trigger. Now I just trigger on it. Here is a hover it. You can see the shadow left aligned, left aligned, and the right one. Then this is the drop up, it's gonna appear on top, this one, and the variables. Let's go to the menu. Simple menu for any type of vertical navigation. Menu navigation component that comprises menu, label, and lists. So we can see that here is a menu. This one, this is the code menu, label list, and this is the here are the variables. Message, colored message blocks to emphasize part of your page. Message is multi-part component. Message container, message head, message body, and a delete option or a button. So here is the message head, body, delete. Okay, message header, and the option within colors, large, dark variations, and I don't think that I have to explain too much in this one. Again, the size, large, medium, and the small one. So you can see this one. Let's move on to the models. Classic model overlay, in which you can include any content you want. Model structure is very simple. Model background, content, close, launch. The example of model. Let me click on it. There is no example of model. It appears with an overlay, and let me close it. To activate the model, just add is active modifier within this class, on this class container. You may also want to add is clipped modifier to a containing element using HTML to stop scroll overflow. Here is the image model. Let me click on it. There is an image and an overlay. There is a button. Let's close it. Model card. Let me launch it. Here is the card. It is scrollable, has two buttons, and let me close it from here. The variables, and let's move on to the navbar. Responsive horizontal navbar that can support images, links, buttons, and drop downs. The main is the component. Navbar is a component responsive and versatile horizontal navigation bar with following structure: navbar brand, navbar menu, navbar burger for the hamburger icon, navbar menu right side, start left part, end right part, item single item, navbar link, and navbar drop down, then navbar divider. Let's move on and see this one. The basic navbar with the different menus and the two buttons on right side. Then navbar brand, we are talking about this one, the logo of the page or a website. Then the hamburger menu. Yes, to use it or to make it, the hamburger menu, we do need to use a JavaScript separately. It's not, the Bulma isn't giving us an option of using the JavaScript within that, as we are using in Bootstrap, but it's very simple. It's not difficult. We're gonna use the vanilla JavaScript for this. If we let me check in the navburger, is a hamburger menu that only appears on touch devices. It has to appear as the last child of navbar brand. It has to contain 3 empty spans in order to visualize the hamburger lines to or the cross when active. Look at this, it's not working. When active, it's gonna be like this, and when you see, you can add this modifier is active, turn it on to cross. Okay. Let's move on, go to the navbar menu. Counterpart navbar brand appears direct child of navbar as sibling of navbar brand. We are familiar with this, we know how to use this one. When we're gonna use this, you will understand. Look here, they are saying that JavaScript toggle the Bulma packages does not come with any JavaScript. Okay, this is the main point. It isn't coming with any kind of JavaScript, as we are using it in Bootstrap. When we use this hamburger menu in Bootstrap, we don't need to use any external JavaScript file, right? But here we do need, here is the code. When we're gonna create the project, we will use this one, that one. So you can see navbar start and navbar end. So left and right, here is here they are defining the items, and what, nothing, not that much we need. Fixed navbar, drop down, and the shadows and all the CSS things, so it's okay. Read the documentation and you can find it interesting. Okay, it's not a rocket science. Let's go to the pagination. You can see previous, next, list, link, ellipses, paginations. Okay, so here we have pagination, role is pagination, area label, this one previous, next, list, previous, next. Okay, then disable like this one, or this is the disable one, this is the next, and this is active, this is disable. Code is here again, next, previous, this is also the way to define. Here this is also the way to define. The styles, I like this rounded style, it looks unique and different. Then the sizes, again, small, medium, large, pagination to the pagination component, and the different variations of small, medium, and large. Here are the variables. Let's go to the panels. Composable panel for compact controls, panel heading, tabs, block, and within that we do have a control, input button, panel icon, and repositories, links, colors. Again, panel is link, info, success with different colors, variables. That's all. Let's start seeing these tabs. So simple, responsive, horizontal navigation tabs with different styles. The structure is here. So the Bulma tags are straightforward navigation component. We are going to use the tabs or the tabs class, tab or tabs class, then a container, and it should have a UI, then li, and a link. So default tab style has a single border. You guys can see this one, it's a single border at the bottom. Here is the code. They have just added a class here, tabs, and it looks like this. Then here is the alignment is centered right. This is example of a centered one. Here is the example of the right one with the bottom border. Then icons, you can use icons within this, within these tabs, and here are the sizes. It has 3 additional sizes: small, medium, and large. So here is the example of the small one. This is the example of medium, and here is the example of the large. We just need to add a modifier: is medium, is large, is small, and the modifier is center, is right. Okay, then the styles, borders, just append is boxed modifier. So here are the styles, and they just appended is boxed modifier with them. Then if you want mutually exclusive tabs like radio buttons, or which clicking one deselects, all other ones use is toggle modifier. So here is the is toggle modifier example. You can see tabs is toggle, and the active one is the pictures. If you use both is toggle and is toggle rounded, then here is the example of the is toggle and is toggle rounded. We're gonna use this one in our project. Don't worry about it if you don't get anything, but if you try it on your own with the code they have written here, I'm sure it's gonna help you a lot. If you want the tabs to take up the whole width available, here is the example. You can see right, up, and left, and it covers whole width of a grid. Then combining, so you can combine different modifiers: is boxed, is active, then with icons it is centered. So all the modifiers are combined here, and you can see them here. This is another example with the full width, medium, large, and here are the variables. Here are the variables. All the variables, predefined variables, are written here. Okay. Now let's move on to the form, and here the forms are the general category of within the form. Form controls: align generic form controls designed for consistency. It is not a rocket science. It's very easy, same as we have done it within the Bootstrap. So HTML elements from HTML elements form element. Bulma supports the following native HTML form elements like form, button, input, text area, and label. Here are the CSS classes that are supported by Bulma. And to contain the design evenly balanced, Bulma provides a very useful control container with which you can wrap the form controls. When combining several controls in a form, use the field class as container to keep the spacing consistent. So here is the example. Let me show you the code. This is the code. The class is the top level of the class, or the div is defined with this class of field, then label, and it has a name. Then the other one is username, email. Here is a subject with a drop down and a message or a text area. Then it has radio buttons and the submit and cancel button too. For the best result using Bulma, it's recommended to use the control element as often as possible. Form field. So the field, as we have already learned earlier, that the field container is simple container for a text, a label, control, and any kind of optional help text. Here is the code. Here is the example. You can see. Then this one, it is in a and the font. You can see the font is very small. And here is the code for this. Copy this in your editor or code editor and try it on your own. Then again, the spaced consistently. So here is the spaced consistent space. Then the form control, and the controls are versatile block container meant to enhance single form controls because it has the same height as the element that it wraps. It can only contain the following Bulma elements. So input, select, button, and icon. And this container gives the ability to keep spacing consistent, combine form groups into combine form controls into a group, combine form controls into a list, append and prepend icons or to a form control. Here is the code for this example. And you can see that everything it's looking nice with nice spacing and with the controls. If I click on this, the drop down appears. If I click here, it has a nice outline. And if I click on this button, if you noticed, when I hover over it, it changes its color. It's dark and light. The variation of dark and light is used here. Then with icons, append 1 to modifiers on a control, has icons left or has icons right. So here is the example. This email, it has icon left and icon right, and here is the password with this icon, and the icons they have used are from Font Awesome Icons. Then we can append select drop downs as well. So here is select drop down and it is selected. If I click on the next one, then with options, it is mentioned here. If the controls contain an icon, if control contains an icon, Bulma will make sure that icon remains centered no matter the size of the input or of the icon. So here is the example. Look at the size. It's small input. Is small modifier is being used here, and with the label. Then here has icon left is has icons right, and is left is small. Okay, so if I click here, the icons are small, and here is the code is small and then is left, and here again is small is right. So is small and right. And so this is what we can do with Bulma. The medium input, you guys can just notice that the top level class of the form, they have defined the class field, okay, which makes everything consistent, looks good, nice, with nice spacing. So this is what they if we use the field this is what if we use the field class, and this is how it's gonna work. Here is the examples of different fonts: extra small, small, normal, and large. And you can see the icons also, they are behaving in the same manner as the font is behaving here. Then form add-ons. So add-on attach controls together, use the has add-ons modifier on the class field container. Okay, so add, find a repository here. So search, this is the add-on here. And here is another one you can attach: inputs, buttons, and drop-downs only if you can, if it can be useful to append a static button. Okay, then is expanded. So you can see the expansion here. Field has add-ons. P element, then the P element has controls, input, and then here within the link or the anchor tag, they are saying that the class is a button, and the modifier is used, that the modifier they have used is static. And here is the other one: field has add-ons, controls, options. And here if we see the code, let me show you the code here. You can see field has add-ons, control, select, options, then is expanded. Okay, each and everything is well defined here. I don't think that there will be any problem while working with Bulma or any of the Bulma project. Use the has add-ons center and has add-ons right. It also has the same variations as we have in other elements. And here is the add-on right example, that was the centered one. Form group, again with the field class, they have used the is grouped modifier, and they are grouped. Is grouped centered, you can see is grouped right, so this one is center, this one is right. Add is the expanded modifier on the control element. You want to fill up the remaining space with, so here is the example of that. And then is grouped multiline, here are the multi-lines, and they are grouped with the field class. The modifier is grouped multiline. Then again, list of buttons. If you only need a list of buttons, try out the new buttons class, with which you can create multi-line list of buttons. When we start creating a project, surely we are going to use this one. Horizontal form, field label, field body is grouped, has add-ons in each and everything. They have added the icons, the alignments, each and everything is here in this example, code example. Okay, to preserve the vertical alignment of labels, with each type and size of control, field label comes with 4 modifiers, 4 size modifiers that are small, normal, medium, large, and here for any input or button. This is the example here. You can see small without padding, small padding, normal, medium, and large. So here is the disabled form. You can disable part or whole form by wrapping a set of controls in field set with the disabled HTML attribute. And here is the example field set with the disabled form, with the disabled form attribute. And this is what they have done here. You guys can see it more. It has each and everything. The variables are mentioned here, so you guys can see and check it on your own. Let's move on to the next one, and the next element is input, the text input and its variations. So the Bulma input CSS class is meant for input HTML elements. of following type attributes are supported, like type text, password, email, and font. Here are the several modifiers, and the modifiers are supported with effect of color, size, and the state. So here are the colors, all colors. They have the primary, link, info, success, and warning, danger. Then here are the sizes: small, normal, medium, large. Then the styles: rounded, and controls, hovered. If I hover or if I click here, you can see the outline, then focus, and we do have the loading. You can see the spinner here, and it is spinning the animation. You can resize the loading spinner by appending is small, medium, large, and to the control container. And here is the example. So this is a code, like a control is small and is loading. These two modifiers are being used here. Here is the small, normal, medium, and large. Here is the disabled. Again, if you want to disable anything, you can this placeholder is disabled here. So if you want to disable anything, use this disable. Read only and static inputs are also here. Then if you also append the is static modifier to remove the background border, shadow, and horizontal padding with containing while maintaining the vertical spacing. So you can easily align the input in any context like a horizontal form. Here is the example of that. And if you see the code clearly, we can see that the field class with a modifier of is horizontal, and then the field label is normal, field body control, and here it is written that input is static. Okay. Then we do have some other variations like with font awesome icons. So we can append one of two modifiers on controls, has icons left or right. Now, so here they have used icon left and icons right. Icons left. If has icons left is used, then icons is right, and has icons right is used here. So here when I click here, the left icon, right icon, here they have used only the left icon, and the size of the input will define the size of the icon container. Here is the example code example. Then again the sizes and the alignments, like centered and small, right, medium. Okay, small, medium, large, and let me show you it again. That this is small and is left. This is also is small and is left. Let me show you that. If we go here, if we inspect the element, and here let me dock it below, down here, and close it. I don't need this one. If we click here, then they have the div is column have and controls and input type span. You look at this is small, is left. Again here the font awesome icon they have, and again this span element has the modifier of is small and is right. Okay, so here this is also, like, we can confirm. Here is the code. You can see it and practice it on your own. The variables are defined here. You can check them too. Let's move on to the text area. And the text area, the multi-line text area and its variation. Again, the text area, here is the text area placeholder, and here and defined by the rows. Like, you can set the height of the text area using the rows in HTML attribute. And if I move on, you can see that rows, 10 rows. We have done this thing within Bootstrap, and it is quite similar as we have done it with Bootstrap. So the text area colors, several colors variation they have mentioned here. The size text area has 4 text area with element comes in 4 different sizes, and the sizes are small, normal, medium, and large. Again, it's up to you how we can do this. Then the states, hover is hovered, focus, active, and loading with the spinner. Okay, and again small, medium, large, and if you guys want to add something with the spinner, you can see that they have add these variations. Then disabled, again we can use the disabled with HTML attribute, read only for static pages or something for static, just only to read. Fixed size text area resizing by appending the has fixed size modifier. Move on to the select, and the browser built-in select dropdown styled accordingly. The select class is a simple wrapper around the select HTML element, which gives the styling more flexibility and support for icons. Here is the example. If I say with options, we can get it here. If we say select more, select dropdown, then we can have it here. Several modifiers are supported with effect, again color, size, and state. So multiple select is multiple, and again multiple. So here the class is select, then modifier is multiple, okay, and it is scrollable too. Then colors depends upon the project you are working on. They have used the colors, links, info, success, warning, and danger. Then the styles is rounded, sizes small, normal, medium, large, and the states again hover. For hover is hovered, is focused, is active. With the here is the select, then is hovered, is focused, okay, and is loading with the spinner. With icons again, has icons left and has icons left, right, okay. So it has icons left, and you also need to add a modifier like has icons on the icon. Is icon is left or has icons, icon is left, since has icons left is used. So we're gonna use has icon left, has icons left, okay. Then centered, here is here they have mentioned the alignment, and the sizes again small, medium, and large. Move on to the checkboxes. Two-state checkbox is in its native format. The two-state checkbox in its native format, the checkbox class is a simple wrapper around the input type checkbox element, HTML element, and it is intentionally not styled to preserve cross-browser compatibility and the user experience, okay. So they didn't mention it, but if we want to have to, we can go with this. You can add links to your checkbox, even disable it. Here is the example of the disable checkbox. We cannot do anything, but here we can, okay. Let's move on to the radio buttons. The mutually exclusive radio buttons in their native format. The radio class is a simple wrapper around the input type radio and HTML elements, intentionally not styled. Again, the same thing, they are about cross-browser compatibility. And the radio buttons you can see here checked, and just the same value, then default the check, and with the disabled one, okay. Next we do have the file and file upload, a custom file upload input with JavaScript. So file element has an interactive label. We don't have this thing in Bootstrap, but we do have this here in Bulma. So here is the example, and here is the code. The top level class is gonna be file, then file label, file input, file CTA, file icon, and a font awesome icon here, then a label here. So here is the example of this. We can use the modifiers, and the modifiers has name, file name, and you can see file and has file name. Then has file name is right. Two modifiers are used here. Then they have used the full width, boxed, and has name and boxed. Then here are the colors. It's very basic. They have used all sorts of colors here. Again, the sizes small, medium, normal, large, and then they do have a small and is boxed. Again, within box, you can see medium boxed, normal boxed, is medium, is boxed, is normal, is boxed, and here is the is large and is boxed. Then if we see it's same, then we do have the alignments here, and center and right are the alignment. Look at the center example of centered alignment. File and is centered is boxed. The color is success and has name. Okay, has name, and here it has the right alignment. Then here is the JavaScript. A file upload input requires JavaScript to retrieve the selected file name. Here is an example of how this could be done. So JavaScript is used, and if we click on the choose file, I'm not gonna do this, it's gonna work, okay, because the code is written here. If you see the code script and here is the code, you just need to add this code and it's gonna get your file from your machine and upload it for you. So here are the variables they have defined in SAS. Let's move on to the layout. So let's move. The layout has the first option of container, a simple container to send your content horizontally. And if you notice that now this menu, it changes. It's not in the same position as it was before. So they have shown the example of container within this page. And the container is a simple utility element that allows you to center content on large viewports. And here is the example. We can see a live example of this one. It can be used in any context, but mostly as a direct child of one of the following: navbar, hero, or section of footer. So you can see the effect of this container here with on this page. Here they have added the overview and the overview of hold on. And within this overview, they have added the class and the white for container for widescreen, full HD, maximum for desktop, and for widescreen. And everything is well defined here within pixels. You guys, if you wanna read it more, go ahead and read about it. Then default behavior container. By default, the container will only be activated from the desktop breakpoint. It will increase its max width after reaching the widescreen and full HD breakpoint. So because it is it is going to be active in desktop, so the container's width for each breakpoint is a result of device. Here is a gap. These are the variables, the predefined variables in SAS. So variable has a default value of 32 pixels, but can be modified. This is how the container will behave. So desktop 960 pixels, widescreen 1152 pixels. Then here is 1344 pixels. The values 960, this, and this. This container is centered on desktop and larger view ports. Here is a code example, and they have added the code example of widescreen or full HD only, then desktop and widescreen maximum width. And you guys can see the code and you can practice it on your own. Absolute maximum width, fluid container, and the variables are defined here. The next thing within the layout are levels. Let's move on, and now you can see again it comes to its normal position. Before, as they have mentioned here within this container page, everything, like, because it's I'm using a widescreen and I'm using a desktop, so that is why these side menus were they were hidden at that time, but now they appears, and it's a very wonderful and live example of the container. So let's move on to level, a multi-purpose horizontal level which can contain almost any other element. The structure of a level is following. So level, main container, left for left side, right for right side, and item for each individual element. And here in a level item you can insert almost anything you want: a title, button, text input, simple text. No matter what elements you put inside a Bulma level, they will always be vertically centered. This is something new. We don't have this one in Bootstrap, and this is something new in Bulma. and I hope that you guys gonna like this one. Here is the main container, and they have used, look at the example. Within the nav element, the class is level, then level left, level item, subtitle is 5, field has add-ons, find a post, and the placeholder of find a post, okay, and a button. So everything, the code of this output is here. You can copy paste it within your text editor, and you can see or review the code in an efficient way. Here is another example. Look at the brand. The brand is in the middle of the navbar, or of the menus. Then mobile level. So by default, for space concerns, the level is vertical on mobile. If you want the level to be horizontal on mobile as well, add the is mobile modifier on the level container. Okay, and here is the best example of that. Let's move on to the media object. And something happens to my internet connection. Okay, media object, the famous media object, prevalent in social media interface but useful in any context. You can see media object is a UI element, perfect for repeatable and nestable content. So here is the best example of this. The class is gonna be media, then media left. Here is the image, and then they have a content, and after the content they do have a kind of a footer. Okay, this one, it's a kind of a footer, I'm not saying it's a footer. Okay, and they have used the variations of font. Here is the nesting media example, a media object example. So you can see that how they have nested each element. Here is the example of the nesting. Then the main layout component, which is hero section, or the hero or banner, and imposing hero banner to showcase something. And we have this hero type of thing, or this main banner, in component of Bootstrap, but here we do have this one in layout. So the hero component allows you to add full width banner. Then here is the main container, which is going to be hero, and it has a hero body as a direct child in which you can put all your content. So hero head and a hero footer or hero foot for full height hero. Here is the example of a full height hero, and the colors you guys can see different colors variation. Then sizes small, medium, large, half height, and full height. This is a small, and this is a medium, and this is a large. This one is the half one, and this is the full one. Okay, difference between half and full can be found easily. And they do have a full width navbar. We can see this one here, and with the hero full width navbar, and full height hero in 3 parts, navbar, brand, menus, and title. Then this is the footer of this hero. Okay, and again another example of full. This one is half, this one is full with the footer, and again in different colors. So here are the variables they have defined: padding, and for tablet, for small, medium, large, and here are the colors. Okay, let's move on to the next layout option, which is select. A simple container to divide your page into sections like one you are currently reading. It is in different sections. The section components are simple layout elements with responsive padding and used as direct children of body. So here is the section, and you know that we use this section element, and within this section element you have defined a class of section, and then use a modifier for medium, large to change the spacing. Then here is the spacing for medium and the spacing for large section. here are the variables. Okay, I don't think that we're gonna use this section type of thing, but it is good they have added here, so I just mentioned here. The Bulma footer is a simple container with lots of bottom padding, making it great as the last element of any web page. So the simple responsive footer, which can include anything: lists, headings, columns, icons, buttons, and anything. Okay, anything. So here is the example of footer. Let me show you that they are saying you can see this is the example, and with the footer element they have defined the class footer. We don't have to do anything, just add your content and it's good to go. Okay, so the next one is tiles, and tiles powered by Flexbox. We don't have this one in Bootstrap 2. So a single tile element to build two-dimensional metro like Pinterest like, or dimensional metro like Pinterest like, or what you like grids, whatever you like grids, sorry, to build intricate two-dimensional layouts. You only need a single element, and that element is known as tile, and they are calling it the magical tile element, and it's wonderful. I really like this tile element because we don't have this one in Bootstrap, but it's good one. I like this one, and you can see that here is the class tile, and they have added another modifier which is ancestor, and then is vertical, and here is 8, then tile is parent, is vertical, is child, notification, and the number colors. So this is how we can use the tiles. Modifiers has 16 modifiers, 3 contextual, ancestor, parent, and child. Then directional is vertical, horizontal, 12 horizontal sizes, is 1, 2 is 12. And how it works, look at the nesting, nest tiles, and let me show you the example. Okay, here is the example. You can see. Then the other one is ancestor, and then nesting requirements. Each and everything is well defined here. When we will use this one in our project, you guys are gonna love this one. Okay, so here the examples or the documentation of Bulma is done. I hope that you guys have learned too many things, but whatever we have learned, we are going to practice, use them into our project, and we are going to practice all these, most of these elements in a project. You guys gonna enjoy. Let me show you another thing, and after that, I'm gonna finish this video. Okay, so let's check out the Bulma extensions. If you guys noticed, we haven't seen any kind of carousels or accordions or timelines here within Bulma, but all these things we do have, they are in Bulma extensions. The Bulma extensions side projects to enhance your Bulma experience and have an extension to share with the community. You guys can do this here. Here is the timeline and the link. Also, they have added the link of GitHub. So you guys can, if you want to have this one, you guys can get it from GitHub. Then accordion, we are going to use this one, and we will get these repositories from GitHub. Then carousel, example of carousel. And here is the documentation, and I just click there, and full documentation available here. Let's go and check it. And right now we are not going to use it, but I'm just it's just a way to show you guys that look at, they have everything in matter of integration and initiate components, options, each and everything is here. So the Bulma extensions are also very helpful. We do need the third-party code for applying this. Quick view, icon picker, tags input, tag field, pricing table, mega menu, checkboxes, slider, switch, and timelines, and again dividers, calendar, page loader, ribbon, badge, steps, tooltip, okay, and timeline again here, toast, dashboard, block list, and too many things. So if you guys are interested in learning or to know more about Bulma extensions, go to bulma.io/extensions, read about them, check the GitHub repos, and you guys gonna get too many things from there too. So today we are going to finish this. In the next video, you and I, we are going to create a complete project of Bulma, and in which we are going to use all the knowledge, whatever we have learned from here, we are going to apply in a project. I'll see you in the next one. Hasta la vista. Ciao, ciao.